Okay, today I'll be talking through some of the features and procedures on the new Iris F-16D Fighting Falcon. First off, before we get going, you'll notice that we're sitting on the ramp with the engine running and all the systems on. The Iris F-16D comes with a unique Quick Start Instant Shutdown feature. At the click of a switch, we can instantly shut all the systems and switches to a cold and dark cockpit setup. In addition, we can also make use of the Quick Start switch to turn all the systems on ready for flight. You'll notice that even though the switches are now in their ready positions, the lack of the electrical systems due to a dead engine will affect the displays. Now I'll set the aircraft to cold and dark and run through the pre-flight checklists. Okay, upon entering the cockpit, we'll check the following. Ejection safety lever, safe. Main power switch off. Chaff and flare arm switch safe with guard down. Electronic engine control to primary. Fuel master switch to master and guard down. Alternate gear handle in. Alternate flaps to normal. We'll check ground jettison enable to off. Hook switch up. Switching to the rear cockpit, we'll check the armament consent switch to consent and make sure the guard is down. Audio panels check and set. And that will complete our entering cockpit checks, so we then move on to the cockpit interior checks. We make sure that our loose items are stowed, the harness is fastened and our personal equipment is all connected up. We start by setting the probe heat to off. The stick control is required. Make sure digital backup is off. Leading edge flaps are auto. We check FLCS bit is off. And alternate flaps are normal. Fuel master switch to master and guard down. And tank inerting is off. Engine feed is normal. Air refueling is closed. IFF master switch to standby. We'll check all our roll, yaw, pitch and trims, make sure they're centered. We'll check the EPU switch is set to norm and the indicator light is off. Once again, we'll make sure that the main power is off and the jet fuel starter is off and indicators accordingly. We'll check the AVTR is off. And the ECM is off. We'll check our audio panels. You might need to remove the throttle to get access to them. And then on to the left auxiliary console. The first thing we'll do is we'll check the chaff flare arm switch is safe and the guard is down. We'll check the chaff and flare switch is off. And the alternate gear handle, again we'll check that that is in. Check the landing and taxi lights are off. Check that ground jettison enable is off. And that the brakes are set to channel 1. We'll set the parking brake to anti-skid. We'll check the hook is up and the landing gear is down. Okay, we'll check to make sure we've got off flags on the necessary instruments for roll and pitch. We can visually see the master arm is off and laser arm is off. We'll adjust the altimeter as necessary for the local airfield. Once again, we'll check the armament consent switch, make sure that everything's in order. Check the fuel quantity, make sure that is set to normal, and the instrument mode is set as required. Okay, on the right hand console we'll set our 4 sensor power switches, make sure they're off, make sure the heads up display switches are set as required. Make sure our air source is set to normal. And make sure the avionics power switches are all set to off. Make sure our INS is off. Our anti-ice is auto or on. Check the oxygen pressure, which we can see over here. Make sure our oxygen supply switch is on and indicating.